Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Rise and Thrive Together. Rise and Thrive Together is a vibrant community committed to educating, equipping, and empowering you to get the results you want through real talk, real actions, and real results. We are so excited here today to be with you. However, let me add, this is a pre-recorded episode. Okay. So if you drop comments in the link or what have you, we will definitely get back to you. But we are still having this conversation on the power of community. I want to introduce to you my sister, Regina Rossi Lamothe. Hey, this is a switch. But
No,
hey,
I
hon,
love it.
how are you?
Good. Hey, sis, how are you doing? This is so beautiful. I can't believe that we are here at July 31st. The end of the month and like going into the eighth month, that last quarter of
Mm,
2023. So, pretty exciting to like spend this time together to kind of take a moment and kind of like reflect, right? Kind of look at that month of July, look at the conversations that we've been having, here with our audience and with our guests. And I'm just excited to have real talk with you, right? Real talk about, what have you learned? What have you maybe taken action in? What kind of results you've had? Where you might be stopped in, and anything else that comes to mind.
okay. Sounds good. So let's just recap a little bit. We had Patrick Richwood, actor, producer, theater. What else did Patrick do? Patrick does so much. He's a life coach. Let's not forget that. And Patrick
Yes.
came on at the beginning, pretty much, right, of the month.
Yeah.
He
Hmm.
was tremendous. He was absolutely amazing. He talked about the community of theater and how that not just is in theater, but it spreads out. Because he gave us that story. You remember about he was in the Pirates of Penzance, and this woman, he ran into her on the street, and she was like, "Hey, I know you." And she said that, she was going through some stuff, and her daughters bought her the ticket. And she was like, "I don't want to go," but she did. And she was so grateful to him because he made her laugh. Now we know it wasn't
Yeah.
Patrick himself, it was him in character, but she came out and she was able to laugh and express joy for that time. So, how amazing was the fact that he's in this community of theater and it impacted someone so tremendously, right? Wasn't that awesome? What did you get from Patrick? Because I absolutely love
Yeah.
Patrick.
I've known Patrick for a really long time. We met back in 2008 in a international profound leadership course where we both became leaders and shared personal and professional growth and development,
Mm,
right? And it was just like that moment. So let's go back. 2008, we were super close from 2008 until I left here for Florida to 2012. We were in New York City, we hung out, we got together. Our community was super tight, and we were out to really help people transform their lives. And then I moved to Florida.
mhm.
And then the community and the connection stayed within social media. Beautiful. Love. I've got my own conversation about social media. It really truly is, has me stay connected, not just locally, but globally. And then life happens, right, sis? Life
Mhm.
happens, just like our conversation, you and I, life happens. And we get busy. Doesn't mean that we don't care about each other, we don't love each other. But that connection stayed. That connection stayed. And it was always just like a crossing of a path to see where he's up to or what he's up to or the other people. We were in a big community. There was 125 of us. And then there was like a raw, probably 25 of us. So, sort of like high school, you kind of think about people.
Mhm.
And then you showed up, right? Like you showed up and you were like, hey, sis, I need somebody. And I'm up to like bringing some people into my, last year of my courses with my college students. And I really want to have this conversation. And it was like, no time, no anything. It was like right away. The impact Patrick made on me for my own personal growth and development and my professional growth and development. And including my husband Josh, it was like right away he came there, and then he made an impact to you and your students. And here we are moving forward.
Right.
So it's just like really that I want people to stop and think that you don't know the type of impact or the ripple effect that you're going to leave. And sometimes you'll never see that person again.
Mm.
I remember Patrick specifically saying, if there's one action you can take, right? We talked about this on our next day behind the scenes. There's one action you can take. Maybe it's just a smile to somebody.
Mm.
You just don't know, right? You just don't know. So sometimes it's not always like the pick up the phone and call and reconnect. It's just like, who can you be for
Mm.
somebody else, right? Who can you be for somebody else? And a lot of times it's that reminder of smiling at someone in the store. I did it tonight. Lexi and I went to Walmart. It was time for school supplies. There were things left. That place was busy. People were all over, like the school supply stuff, smacking into each other. You can feel the excitement. You can feel the stress
Mm.
here in Florida. It's August 10th, so we're coming up, and
Wow.
you can hear the kids, "Mommy, I want this and I want that," and everybody's rolling back the prices and looking for the best deal, but the kids are looking for the more expensive things. And I can just feel it. No, I can really feel it. So it was like, who can I be in this situation?
Mm.
Because then my daughter was like grabbing that energy. So it's just like big breath, a smile at her first, like, "Hey baby, what's on that list? Yeah, let's take a look at that. Let's like look at everything first before we, choose." And like it rolled through that whole entire aisle. And then I just looked at the mother and I just smiled and I said, you know, "I get you, I got you." And she was just like, "Girl," you know. And the kids started talking. You know what I mean? That's how simple. And we make it, I think, more complicated than it is
Mhm.
when we say, "Take an action." Hey guys, take an action. We kind of get into like that. I don't know about you, sis, but I think something big. Like, what's the big action I can take? And it kind of freaks me out if I think about it.
Mm.
Sometimes it's as simple as calming ourselves down, getting ourselves connected, and a simple smile.
Mhm.
That's what I got.
You know what I get with community, and it was never really and truly something I got involved with. But this year,
Mm,
it just seems to be like I said when we had Shanique, Dr. Shanique Carmichael on just last week. And it is about how can I help? And it's not saying how can I help you?
mm,
It's just saying how can I help overall
yeah.
to someone. And it's interesting because right before we jumped on to record this show, I got a text message from a friend of mine. Hey, are you busy? I had 4 minutes. So I got on the call, said, hey, I have 4 minutes. What's going on? And she asked me to help her with something that's going on in her community. And I'm like, sure, just send me the details and I'll do that for you. What I want to know from our audience is how do you find a way to help in your community? For me, it's not just helping people I know, it's also helping people I don't know. We shared or donated items that I made. I also make jewelry. And so we donated some items to an organization, some jewelry to an organization, so that these young girls can have something when school starts. They may or may
Mm,
not have. That is
mm,
not for me to decide, but it is for me to do my part in the community and give back, for us to do in the community. And that's what we did. And it was a substantial amount of jewelry as far as the actual jewelry and the dollar amount. But for me, it wasn't about the dollar amount. It is, hey, we're here to help someone else. We can't talk about community and not get involved in our community. I'm involved in other assets, other facets of my community. And that is where I work. I'm finding that now I'm working with high school kids and an organization that actually works with high school kids. They get immersed in an area that they're interested in, and then they compete in that area.
Love it.
So I want to know from my audience, how do you get involved in your community? And try to give us as much information as you can, because it may be something that someone else will read and say, hey, I'd like to help. I'd like to take part. We just don't know how what we're doing, like you said, impacts someone else. It's a ripple effect, like you said. And we are part of this great, great, great networking, and I'm going to give them a shout out, Laws of Life with Blanca Pepper, and tremendous networking group that we're a part of. And we're able to connect all kinds of people with others that they probably would not meet. Right? That's the reality. So
Yeah.
let's talk about Shanique and what she brought to Rise and Thrive Together.
Oof. Yeah, there's two things that come up for me, right? One was how you brought, you really shared like that question, like how do we, you know, um, how do we connect in our community? How are we being of service of community? So here's the thing I want to say to, our audience. It's a question. And
Mm-hmm.
like we're out to like shatter those limiting beliefs and pivot those mindsets. So if you're like right now thinking, I haven't done anything, all good. It's all good. It's an
Absolutely.
honest question. We are real talk. Like Raquel and I are constantly looking at like she'll share something with me and I'm like, I haven't done that, and that's okay. It's for her. And for me now I get to say, is that something I'm interested in? Is it something that I'm committed to? Like we just want you to have a look at, because we're sharing with you that one little action, if it's as big as Raquel is like in working with these high schoolers and making this jewelry and really giving something to other people that don't have that same like I can go out and buy my daughter jewelry, right, and have her start, right, and then there's just like as simple as the act of what I did today with my daughter to like have that ripple
Mm-hmm.
effect and shift that energy there. Shanique, for me personally, is like, so I'm at just like a different level. Like we created Rise and Thrive Together because Raquel and I are out to, and she specifically is out to have you become uncomfortable. You get that?
Thank you.
So, why I partner up with people is
Yes.
that I'm comfortable and I have a phenomenal life. I have a phenomenal life. And and I'm not saying it's wrong. So again, look at that mindset. We're not talking, if we can get rid of that morality and judgment, I'm out to really rise and thrive. And if you really just take a moment and say, like, what do I want in life? What do I really want to do? Who do I really want to be? Where do I want to leave my legacy now? Not after I'm gone, not after we're gone, but like now. I have my daughter at stake, right? Like, that's what it is. And even before I had her, it was like it's the type of community I am in that keeps on saying like bigger, like bigger. So she has me like, kind of getting
Mm.
this out of the uncomfortable zone. Guys, we have so much we got going on from now until the end of the year into next year. I was looking at my schedule. She doesn't even know. I'm like, like, am I going to fit it all in? Because I am. I'm going to be able to do it. Why? Because I've got this
In and
community. I've got her.
out,
I've
Reg.
got people.
So some of it we're missing, and we heard that,
Okay.
and your schedule, fill in the blanks for us.
Oh yeah. So sorry that we might be going in and out here. I was just saying that Raquel doesn't even know. Like when I'm looking at my schedule, the things that we committed to do, right, to really rise and thrive together in our communities, and our communities are international, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of sometimes that limiting belief, that mindset is like, how am I going to do it all? Right? How simple. Being in communication, being authentic and honest, being real with her, being real with the people. You know, I before I say yes, right? Like before I say yes, I got to take a moment. I got to look at everything. Got some other people I need to discuss with. We've made already a commitment. So Shanique for me is that bigness, right? Like Shanique is
Mm.
that bigness for me. Like I'm like, wow. She is also for me what I love as being a social worker. She is grassroots, boots on the ground. Now, not everybody needs to do that, right? We asked you to
Yes,
donate if that,
yes.
connects to you. But like she is, I all of there are many people out there that was part of my life then. I am now to a different level, and it reminded me to be like, yeah, I loved that. So we're looking at like being boots on the ground and bringing it all with us, those who want to join, boots on the ground, and make that difference. That pure authentic grassroots, like you said, it's not just like talking and donating and smiling and behind you and having other people do it. Shanique didn't even get to share with you guys that a lot of times it's just her and her husband and her children. That volunteers are all there and life happens.
Hmm.
But she made a commitment. And so they're still there, making sure that food, making sure those services, making sure everything that they need happens. When you have 10 volunteers and only 2 out of the 10 show up, you
Absolutely.
don't stop. So she is that uncomfortable part for me. And the reminder of like, I mean, when I'm talking about it, like my heart's just like so open that like boots on the ground, like kind of ground yourself. Stay, remember where you come from. That's what it is.
Mhm.
Like remember she never forgets where she came from.
Right.
This story is her story. That woman was her. No food, no shoes, didn't eat for days, didn't know where it was coming from. So I always want to like kind of have that community around me to remind like of the gratitude of everything that we've been through, because now where we are today, we have an opportunity to serve and be able to provide that hope and inspiration and education and empowerment and leave them equipped so that they can continue to leave that legacy and make that difference. We don't believe in circumstances ruling our life. We believe in shattering them, disrupting them, and having you be able to rise. So that's really what came for me.
So let me say this. You said something interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, we gave you real talk, action. Find something that you are interested in. Whether it's something you have a gift, talent, and ability in, or something that you've always just wanted to learn how to do, and you get in your community. That's all we're saying. Do you have to do it? Absolutely not. We're not checking up on you. I'm not coming to your house like, "Doot, doot, doot, doot. How many times did you volunteer this week?" I'm not doing that. That's the conversation you have with yourself. For me, I was never really into community, and it actually started when I lived in Myrtle Beach. I used to volunteer every single week at a food pantry. I would go and help cook and serve. And to me, that brought me great joy because it gave me the ability to give back. And yes, it's just cooking and serving, but that's a full meal to someone that may be their only meal for the day. And I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad and guilty because they don't want to do. This is what I want to do. And I am so grateful that now I get to do it here, back here, in another capacity, working with these high school students and with the big organization with their name. I'm also hoping to get in as a committee chair in this organization as well. Why? Because it's something that I just want to do. For me, it's very much on my heart and in my spirit that I have to give back. There is no option for Raquel. I'm not speaking to anyone else, but I am saying if you want to get in action, find something. Feel where is it? You'll be led to where you need to be if it's something you really want to do. And here's the other thing about community. I'll share with you guys what Patrick first is doing for Regina and I. He's offering us free coaching. He's a life coach. This is his business in addition to his acting, but he's offering us part of his community free coaching, and we are coachable and we're taking it in and utilizing the techniques that he's giving us. We're definitely doing that with Shanique. We were off camera with that, with the hey, behind the scenes. We were off camera when she said, "Hey, listen, you know what? You guys have something here and it needs to be shared with others." And we engaged in a brief conversation about going to the Bahamas and sharing Just our voice. That's all we're doing. Sometimes it's just something simple like just your voice. Or like Regina gave that mom a smile and they were like, girl, this is something else up in here. I know how it is with Walmart now on a regular day. When it's back to school time, whole different ball game. But again, back to we'll be sharing just our voice. And that's a conversation that we will continue to have and see what we can create. We cannot under any circumstances, and I really don't care about, you know me, I'm the one's going to tell you I don't care, and don't send me no emails. We cannot grow in isolation. We can only grow in community. You can disagree, dispute, but you would have to show me someone that grew in isolation.
Yeah.
You grow in community. And sometimes the community may not be physically there, but the community might be up here. It's something that somebody told you, and you are holding on to that because you are going through something. Without that person telling you that thing and you holding it in your memory and being able to extract it when you need it, you wouldn't grow. Do not, under any circumstances, send me an email talking about, yes, you can. No, you can't. You really have to show me proof. We grow in community, not in isolation. So, those of you that say, I don't need anybody, I can do this all by myself. Good luck to you. Good luck to you, bruh. Good luck to you, sis. Tell me how that's going to work out for you. Okay? That's what I want to know. Sis, I'm sorry. I just had to
Well,
let
see
people
what
know.
happens? This is, I love this because this is how we started. That is real talk. And it is not, again, anything like she's saying to say, you're right, you're wrong. It truly
Right.
is, it is our belief system. It is our belief system. I'm 100%. And I think what's beautiful, what you said was we have some type of kind of misinterpretation of community, right?
Mm,
You know, like, because you said something really powerful, which was in here. Because, yes, I'm an individual and I'm alone. And it was that thought of all the years that you and I have been speaking on and off while you were in China, and, you know, that I remembered our conversations. We didn't talk for a long time. It was like a whole year go by, and, you know, we'd quickly have a conversation. And it was like when you came back to Jersey, it was those conversations throughout the years that are ingrained in me. I had a wonderful mentor, Dr. Love, here in Florida. He's a Qigong specialist. He's also a Chinese herbal medicine specialist as well. Raquel, somebody I want to share with you on another time. And what he said was, that all of our conversations, all of our circumstances, traumas, is not, we, many of us know it's in us, right? It's
mm,
in us, but he's like, it's in our blood. Now take a moment for a second. It's in our blood. Blood, like one of my friends who are nurses says, you know, like when you bleed out, you're like dead, because that's how important blood is for our body. So, like, that conversation, our conversation led us to here, that led us to
mm.
the community of Laws of Life with Blanca Purpur, that led us to this, you know, beautiful, what, you know, webcast, to led us to all the people that were meeting and crossing paths and connecting. And Raquel's over here and I'm over here, which is all one big, beautiful energy of having and being of service. So I love what you said, because you may be alone,
Yeah.
but take a moment and really think there is someone that said something to you somewhere that made an impact, an empowering impact. We're not talking about the disempowering ones, because those we get, you know, we get why we're here, while we have lots of resources for you if you really have that struggle. We're talking about, there's at least one person, guys. That's my belief. One person, something you heard, read in a book, saw on
Mm.
YouTube, whatever it may be, that has there, that is still that you can grab onto, as that hope, that faith, that you can make that impact. I didn't even think community starts with self, right? Like, it was sort of this interesting. So I loved what you said. It starts with self. And what I also got was, it, you kind of had me think, like, it's in one of the things that I wrote a long time ago. What brings you joy? So if you're not
Mm.
sure, Like, where do I want to make a difference in community? Just take a moment, take a couple of moments and be like, what do I really like? Like, really, what do I like to do? What did I say I really wanted to do? And just play around with that and then explore that. And what's beautiful about the internet and all the social media stuff, you can look up stuff and Google stuff and check out meetups about it so you can tiptoe in and out of it. Raquel shared earlier in it was our right before 4th of July, like that 4th of July one, where she tiptoed into this new community that she wanted to get involved in with a group of women, and how you really were able to listen to what they were talking about. You weren't sure if this was the community for you,
Right.
but it was an interest of hers. Like, she was like, I want to check it out.
And I'll tell you, that community and that group tomorrow. So I'll let y'all know next week what took place. You said something really interesting, and that is take time, take a moment, and look within yourself and see what's interesting to you. And what immediately right now is coming to me is, as soon as you start to do that, please be aware that something that you don't want and you don't like, that's going to try to take precedence. Right?
Yes.
Because that's going to be like, oh, yeah, you think you're going to learn what you want? No, I'm going to sneak in. And it is on you to push that thought. Let that thought come, because it's going to come, and just let it go just like it came, and continue to focus on where is it can I best serve, because that's basically what you're doing. Or not, maybe you are already serving and you want to invite other people in, and if that's the
Mm,
case, drop that in the comments as well, because you may help someone who wants to help serve, and they just don't know how, don't know where, or whatever. You can help them by dropping that. So if you do serve and you are involved in your community actively, let us know. Share that. We want to know. And if you are still struggling with, I know I want to help, I just don't know where, reach out to us. info@riseandthrivetogether.com. And we'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you about, hey, let's hear what you do like. What you don't want is automatic. All right. We know what we don't want. Most people
yeah.
struggle with what they do want. Right.
This is what we have, this, guys. This webcast, this community is yours. It's ours. She says we're a vibrant community, it's not Raquel and I, it's all of us. So
Mm-hmm.
this is why we're here. There's not a thing you cannot ask, share with us, get deep and dive into this conversation with us. Just get there. And most of the time, as Raquel has said, we're connectors, we're resources. There's always someone that we can, if it's not us, that we can set you up with so that you can just have a conversation with. I think that's what I want to leave people with.
Mm-hmm.
No excuses. No excuses.
I
You
love
have
it.
a thought, you're like, I'm interested. I don't know how, because that other one's going to stop you. That other little, side of you is going to be no. No. Say thank you. And I'm going to just make a phone call. I'm just going to send an email. I'm just going to send a comment. It's that simple. Then the rest, we're here to guide you through if you need us or tons of people around you to support you in that. That is this community. I
Mm-hmm.
swear and promise you that you can rise and thrive doing whatever your heart desires. You just got to take an action. So that is what I'm leaving with you on my soapbox. What action are you going to take? Put it in there. Put it in there, because we're going into August. Let's keep on playing. Go ahead, sis.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, what I'm going to leave you with is what I said earlier. You cannot grow in isolation. You can only grow in community, because community is going to challenge you, right? And challenges come to grow us. We don't always see it that way. We see challenges coming as, oh my gosh, this just wants to stop me every time I try to do something. It's coming to grow you. Allow it to take place. But you have to choose. And Reg said that you have to choose. When those thoughts come, choose which one you're going to take on. Which one are you going to feed and give life to? Because at the end
Mm,
of the day, that's you. But I'm not going to go forward in that too much, because we're going to take a deep dive into your words. And then I'm going to get at y'all. I don't get at y'all too much because I love you. And getting at you doesn't mean I don't love you. I still love you, but I'm going to get at you. All right. So thank you so much. We look forward to being live next week. And remember, together, we can rise and thrive. Till next time.